This is Nat and Naomi doing Key 5, Connect to Meaning and Purpose. You'll notice there's been a bit of a theme throughout the month. This month we've been going through our 5 keys, and that's from our model of well-being. So we're on our final key now, which is quite exciting. If you guys have got any comments or anything like that, please let us know in the chat option. We will try our very best to answer any of the questions. If we miss you, we're not ignoring you or anything like that. It's just that they come up quite fast on our streaming service. But please do leave your comments. Let us know if you're listening. Let us know if you can hear us okay and things like that, and we'll try and have a little fiddle with it. So for those of you who don't know, because obviously this goes out on a live platform, Isopropia Foundation is an organisation on the Isle of Wight for mental health and well-being. If you're interested in joining, all you have to do is give us a call on the number that should be at the bottom of the screen, but I'll just repeat it. If it's not, it's 01983 217791. Do give us a ring and you can refer to us straight away. All right. So do you want to introduce yourself? Then I'll introduce myself.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. I'm Naomi. I'm a wellbeing coach here. I've been here for about a year and a little bit now, I think. So I have my own lived experience in mental health, but yeah, I'm really passionate about this service. I feel like it's definitely something that would have helped me when I was at my lowest 5 years ago. So yeah,
it's really good to hear.
It's me.
That's excellent. So I've been with Isopropia coming up to 2 years now. I have been the deputy lead of Isopropia for how long? 8 months? 10?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, under a year, which is a really exciting new role for me. But also for those of you who don't know me, I'm training to be a therapist as well. So I'm going into my final year of therapy, which is really exciting. When we get to actually talking about the subject matter, I'll describe a little bit about how important it was to set goals and stuff. And for anyone who knows me, my main goal is to become a therapist, which I'm really excited about going into my final year. Oh, it's Jazz.
Hi, Jazz.
Hi, Jazz. Oh, that's brilliant. Got Gwan, Naomi, and the Gav. Brilliant. So that's my nickname for anyone who doesn't know. I haven't been called that in a long while, Jazz. So Connect to Meaning and Purpose is part of our GIFT experience. For those of you who don't know, the GIFT is our 2-day course, and it's just absolutely amazing to go through. We've done it ourselves, haven't we?
Yeah.
I'm going to go through my goal mappers in a little while, so you can see what we've done it. Because I've done it 3 times, I think, now.
Okay.
You've done
I've
it
done
once.
it once. I did it on Zoom as well, because I was right at the beginning, sort of COVID time. So I'd really like to do it face to face. I think it'd be a totally different sort of aspect of it.
It is.
Face to face.
And if you go back on our Facebook page, you'll be able to see the other lives, but also you'll be able to get a bit of a sense of our model of well-being. And there's some videos on YouTube as well, which explains the different keys. So if you want to know a little bit more about the keys to well-being, basically, go back and have a look at the videos. You'll get something a bit more in depth. We'll see Jeffrey Bennett. Oh, Jeff, nice to see you. How are you? Good afternoon, ladies.
Hello.
I don't think I've been called a lady for a while, but that was lovely. Thank you. So connect to meaning and purpose in life can obviously mean different things to different people. So we're more than welcome to take ideas from you guys as well, because that's how we learn and grow as well.
Definitely.
For me, it's about using our intention to seek meaning on a non-material level. So what I mean by that is that quite a lot of our day-to-day life, I think, is shaped by social media. Not just social media, what's in the papers, what's on telly. You know, even more so now than ever before, we've got all of these comparisons, haven't we?
All the time.
To compare ourselves to. And sometimes, I don't know about you, but I can get a bit lost or overwhelmed. I describe it as I can't see the wood for the trees.
Yeah, definitely.
Feel like I lack direction. That really, really does affect my mental health massively. If I feel I need some kind of direction. I really thrive on boundaries.
Yeah, sometimes you can end up thinking that you're supposed to be doing everything that everyone else is supposed to be doing, and actually sometimes a lot of the time we just need to be reconnecting with what we want to be doing and what actually really matters to us and what's important to us and who we are. And sometimes that's really difficult to see that and find out what that is when we're unwell. So it can be a massive challenge to not listen to outward, like from media and things like that, coming in sort of like things, and actually really focusing on what we want and what we want to do. So it's quite a big difference between the two.
It is massively, and we're in like the information kind of generation, aren't we? So there's so much information out there. It's almost like you've got to sift through what is real, what's applicable to yourself, or sometimes you can get swept away.
Definitely.
I just want to say hi to Samantha Campbell.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, guys. Hope you're good, Sam. Oh, Sam, always good to have you here. Any contributions, please? We're more than happy to have a chat about anything, especially people's gift experiences. That'd be really interesting to
definitely.
know about goal setting and things like that. So just going back to what we were saying about other influences, I think it's really important to stay in tune with yourself, and it's so much easier said than done, isn't it?
It is. I think a lot of the time we can think we're fulfilling our purpose when a lot of the time, in my own personal experience, I was living somebody else's expectations of me and living in somebody else's what they thought was right for me, or who they thought that I should be, when actually I should have been living out what I wanted to be and what was really driving me, what I really felt passionate about. And I just kind of shoved that down for a long time because I was going along with what was expected of me, or what I felt like other people would make other people happy, when actually what was really important, what I should have listened to all along, was actually what made me happy and what was really important to me.
Absolutely.
And I think that was something that took a while for me to realise.
I honestly think it does. I mean, I remember finishing uni, so I did sociology with criminal justice studies, and I loved it. But at 21, I thought, I'm really not old enough to go into, I wanted to do youth work and stuff like that. And I thought, I haven't got the life experience to do it. So I was a bit lost, and I fell into like the pub industry. I don't mind admitting I needed money. We need to pay bills, stuff like that. And it kind of progressed from there. So what started as a part-time job, because I had a full-time job as well, then I got promoted to supervisor and then assistant manager. And for those of you who know me, like Jeff, Sam and Jazz will know this, that I moved to London, and it was brilliant. And it's not a negative thing at all, but it took me so far off my path, like so far away from my personal meaning and purpose. And I got lost, not in a bad way, but I was progressing really quickly, and people were saying, oh, you're actually really good at this, which is really nice to hear, isn't it? And I went that way until I found myself managing a job, managing a pub in central London, where I went, oh God, like after 18 months, this is not what I want to be doing. I gained loads of things from it. Like, I don't regret, there's nothing to regret about it. I absolutely loved it. But it's just, I suddenly went, right, okay, I think I got to probably early 30s, so 32, 33, and went, what do I do now? I know I don't want to do this. But what do I want to do? Like, I'm so far removed from what I went to university to do, what I trained to do. And
I felt exactly the same, doing the similar kind of thing. So we've spoken about this before, and I've been doing hospitality for a long time, since I was 13 years old, and I was good at it. I was good at what I was doing. I felt competent in my role, but it got to the point about a year or so ago where I was just like, you know what, this isn't serving me anymore. I wasn't getting that fire. I wasn't feeling passionate. I wasn't feeling like I was really getting something from this. Like, it wasn't, I felt like I had all this fire and passion inside of me, and it was just not being used. And I felt like I need to be using this passion for something, and I just couldn't figure out what it was supposed to be for. But then also at the same time as that, not really knowing what it was supposed to be used for, was also not feeling good enough. I didn't feel good enough to try and reach for my goals. I didn't feel worthy of even thinking about me and what I might need, or looking, even paying attention to what I might need, or what that fire is, or where that's coming from. So it took me quite a long time. It took lockdown actually for me to actually have to sit with it and actually really think about it and go, actually, I'm really passionate about mental health. I'm really passionate about trying to help people and being in that sort of environment and around like-minded people. And that's when I decided to go for the job at Zeropia. But it took such a long time, lockdown actually, for me to be actually forced to sit with it and look at it and decide what it is that I was doing and what that fire was about, and what was inevitably going to be my purpose.
And I think a lot of you will probably agree with Naomi as well. And there'll be certain situations like myself. I came out of pub management, and then a year later I found myself back in pub management because I was so lost. I had a very, very, very supportive area manager, but he wanted me to run one of the pubs. So I fell back into it again because I went, well, responsibility. I know I'm good at it, so it's not that we weren't good at our previous careers; it just didn't make our heart sing.
No, exactly.
So Jazz has just put, having a boundary and goal in mind for myself was vital to help me move forward. Goals that were realistic for me and not for others' expectations, which is absolutely brilliant. We'll come on to that in a minute. Tim's put, very true. Before I used to always try to people please, but I found that I can't please everyone and should focus on myself more. Tim, it's a huge one. It is massive. And can I just say that, like, I'm a bit of a people pleaser, and I don't see it as a negative trait as long as you're not giving everything to everyone. Actually wanting everyone to be happy is quite a nice personality trait.
It is.
But you just can't do everything for everyone all the time, because you will not be happy. You will not be fulfilled in life.
I think remembering something that I realised and being aware of it as well was actually just listening to what you really want and what you really need, and listening to that fire and going along with that and making steps towards those things isn't selfish. And I think, or sometimes people can see that as really negative and be like, oh, you're just thinking about what you want to do, when actually what we want to do is going to make us happy. And if we can make other people happy in the process of doing that, and be a people pleaser, take that aspect along with us with what we're focusing on, what's our purpose, then we're more than likely going to be really happy and make other people around us really happy. So it can be a really, really helpful.
Absolutely. I always say, I don't think that some of these things that we kind of beat ourselves up about, like perfectionism or managing expectations or people pleasing, I don't think they're inherently all bad. There's some really positive aspects of all of those traits. It's just about finding that balance, isn't it? So that it's not damaging you, because if you are people pleasing all the time, your mental health is probably going to suffer. There's going to be a correlation there, isn't there? But it's really interesting, Jazz said, having a boundary and goal in mind for myself. So something that we talk about here is like basically having a target. So even the best marksman in the world cannot hit the target if there isn't one. So it's almost, I'd never done any of this work before. So in the gift, we do a written goal mapper. I don't know if you can see that. So I've written my goals in there. And then we do a picture one with colour. So what this does is help use all parts of your brain to solidify your goals. And how we write it is, it was a bit of a weird one to get my head around, is write it like the goal is already happening. So this is about setting your intention. So for example, I put in the middle of my lighthouse, this is my main goal, but I love working for myself and I enjoy the freedom it affords me and the financial security it brings. So by putting it in the positive present tense, you are telling yourself, you're almost tricking yourself, I think, into that it's already happening. Now, if I said, for example, I'm going to get fit, or next week, or the month after that, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to start eating healthily. If you do that, all you're ever doing is putting your intention in the future. You're not putting it in the present. So all you will ever achieve is wanting to get fit, or wanting to get healthy. It's always just out of reach, which I find really interesting.
Yes.
We'll talk more about breaking down goals in a minute. I'm just going to scroll up to see. Samantha's put, I'm not feeling good about myself at the moment and suffering from physical health issues at the moment. So also impacting on my mental health. Yeah, it does. It does impact, doesn't it? One goes in hand with the other, doesn't it, Sam?
I think the lack of sleep when you're in physical pain as well can just be so detrimental on your mental health. I think the lack of sleep and it's just
it all impacts.
Snowballs, doesn't it? Snowballs into everything else.
Lawrence, but I think I always focused on my career as my purpose. Felt a lot of guilt for ending up in a job not related to my degree, like I'd let others down. Only recently finding that actually a lot of my purpose is my children and my life outside of work, which is brilliant. Feeling so much happier without putting the pressure on myself, which is amazing. And what you've done really highlight there. So one thing that we do with the goal mapper, and this is what I'd never done before, was I've got my main goal, but we've got 4 sub goals. And what we're trying to do is look at a balanced life. And I love that you've put that your purpose is your children and your life outside of work, because we should all have like a balanced goal mapper, really. Can't plow everything into a career. You can't. It's probably not going to make you happy. It's all about all of the areas of your life that are really important to you.
It was similar for me, but kind of the other way around. So my whole purpose, my whole life has been, since not my whole life, but since I was 18 years old, was be a mum. And I put all my energy and continue to put all my energy into that as well. But I just didn't realize who I was away from that. And I think I needed to find out. Now my children are getting older. My eldest son is 18 this year. Finding out who I am away from that was something that was really important to me, that I hadn't given any time to. I hadn't given myself any time to look at that. So similar to you, Lauren, but kind of the opposite way around is I had to try and figure out who I was away from that situation, because that was like my whole world and continues to be my whole world. But I feel like I needed to find out who I was as well as being a mum, which was massively important. And it was important for me to get to the point where I gave myself permission to even just look at that. I took a long time of not even giving myself permission to even look at that. I felt like I wasn't worthy. I felt like I wasn't enough. I felt like I didn't deserve anything else apart from that. That's because of my previous experiences. But yeah, the realization of actually, I am a mum, but I'm also somebody else.
You're
I'm
also
also
Naomi.
me. And I had to try and figure out who that was. And that was a massive moment in my life. And I'm continuing to learn that as well, and evolve with that as well. So
because it's not just about you being a mother. It's also the fact that you were the sole provider as well.
Of course.
So you would have taken jobs for money that fit around your family time.
Exactly.
So it all feeds into each other, didn't it, at the time? And then it must have been, it's such a brave thing to do, is to step back and go, actually, they are growing up now. What's me, like, this isn't serving me. These jobs served me up until now,
a certain purpose, but it wasn't my purpose. And I needed to figure out what that was. And the only time I had time to do that was in lockdown. It was like, right, you're going to have to look at this now. So it kind of gave me permission and time to really look at that. But yeah, along with that came a growth of self-esteem though as well, and a feeling of like being enough and giving myself permission, which was a lot.
Huge thing, absolutely huge thing. Just going back to the goal mapper and the balance, like my main goal is to be a therapist and work for myself in the future. But something that Jazz touched on there that I think is really important is making small goals as well. So I sometimes get overwhelmed by the decisions I've got to make, and I actually, when I finished my foundation counselling course and I was looking for another course, I found it really overwhelming. There's so much out there, so many different courses. I didn't know what would suit me. I didn't know what was worth the money. Everything kind of came with different like stipulations and stuff. That was another example of me not being able to see the wood for the trees. So it was great to have the main goal there. And I went, right, that's my focus. So when I'm tired or I'm stressed out because or sometimes I can't go out see my mates or my family because I've got to write an essay, I've got my main goal in front of me, and that keeps me going, which is brilliant. But it's all the smaller goals that I set every week that helped me get there. And one of my goals was literally 1 week to Google a course. And then the next week, it was phone them to ask when they accept applications. The following week was something, and I just broke it down so that I didn't feel like, oh my God, this is insurmountable. I'm not going to be able to do this.
By breaking it down into smaller steps, you felt more capable and more able to achieve that goal. And I think if we don't do that and we just go straight for the big goal, we're so like scared and sort of like confronted with this massive, huge goal that we're not able to like really sort of get to it. Sometimes we're just completely discluded and go, no, it's too big, I'm not going to do it. But by breaking it down into those small manageable steps, we're able to get to that point where we can achieve that goal. And I think having support around that is really important as well.
That's another thing. The support around it is like, what resources do I need to achieve this goal? Is it sometimes it's just going to be me. I need to sit down and do this, or I need to make time to do this. Sometimes it's like Google, sometimes it's textbooks, sometimes it's asking for help from someone else. And it's really important to break those things down. Also, when you break down small goals, is you gain confidence by small successes. So every time you achieve the small goal, it's like you described earlier, didn't you? That it's another like stepping stone. If you think of paving stones.
That's how I say it. Definitely. It's paving stones towards the main goal.
Exactly. And you gain. So if you do, you know, I've at times, even now, still lack self-esteem and confidence. If you break it down into those smaller goals, once you achieve them, you do gain the confidence and self-esteem, so that by the time you get to your main goal, it doesn't seem as scary.
Definitely. But I think it's about paying attention to those successes. Sometimes we can just disqualify things and go, oh, I only did this week. And actually, that's actually pretty major. Like if you're making, even if it's a small step, like Googling a course or doing something like that, even if it's a small step, it's still a step in the right direction. So it doesn't matter how small it is. If it's a step in the right direction, it's a step forwards. And that's where you want to be going. You don't want to be stagnating. You don't want to be going backwards. We want to be going forwards. Even if it's like the smallest, tiniest little thing, forwards, you're in the right direction. And that's where you want to be going.
Definitely. And I just think goal mapping for me has been amazing, but also journaling. So having a self-care journal where I do small tasks every week. And this is a really important thing. Don't judge yourself on other people's goals. Like you know, going back to what we were saying right at the beginning, they have to resonate with you. They have to resonate with your core values and what you want to do. So a goal of mine for 1 week might be that I want to sit down and listen to an album that I haven't listened to for ages. It might be that I want to watch the TV program or read a chapter of a book that I haven't got around to do. So small tasks and goals like that help me to remain balanced. It doesn't always have to be, like you're saying, career orientated or being a mother or anything. It can just be, I'm going to go for a sea swim after work or something like that.
And that's where it comes into like wellbeing planning. I don't know if any of you guys have done that or had a look at that, but that's where wellbeing planning comes in, planning in your wellbeing into your daily routines. So I might have for the week going to the vets, doing the shopping, like, you know, making appointments, work, you know, also putting in there, I put in yoga 3 hours a week. I've got on my actual calendar, I've got a little tick box. So I know that I can tick it off when I've done it. So I've prioritized it. I've made it just as important as the other things, which I think is basically what you're saying, isn't it? Is making those things a priority as well.
It's absolutely, especially like for me, it's so difficult for me to do like a self-care journal, because if anyone knows me, I always get stuff done that I have to do. And I always prioritize that, but actually I haven't always prioritized my well-being. And just to write it down, I think makes you accountable.
Definitely.
hold you to it. And I like that tick box thing.
Yeah.
That really resonates with me.
I wrote yoga on there, and then I put a little box, and I was like, no, I'm going to tick it off every time I've done it. So it's like extra.
Yeah.
I'm going to get some stickers.
Yeah.
There's a
I've
sticker.
got stickers. I have got stickers. I
Get some
love
gold
it.
stars.
You need stickers in a
Reward
book. I mean, it's
system.
not a self-care journal if you don't have stickers.
Leave this in
Just
my
doing it
life.
all wrong. So one thing that's really important, I don't know if you guys have ever heard about SMART goals. So SMART is an acronym. I first heard of SMART goals when I became a manager and I had to do training. And this was how I had to relay stuff to the team that I wanted them to do. But it really applies to setting goals for your own life as well. So the acronym is S for specific, M for measurable, A for achievable. So I think that's really crucial to the whole thing. It's got, it's got to be achievable.
It has.
This
is what we're talking about with the small
Yeah.
manageable steps. It needs to be something that you're able to sort of do this week in the time period that you've got within your other commitments, and be able to implement that. It has to be realistic, doesn't it, as well?
Absolutely. So it's got to be relevant, and by relevant we mean it's got to be relevant to you. And Roland's just said it's okay to think of self and do what you really want to do. That falls into relevance as well. And timely. So this is how I learned of timely, is obviously me telling my team members if we needed to complete a project on time, you have to give someone enough time to do it.
Yeah.
For me, if I relate it to myself, I had to give myself enough time to train as a therapist, and that is difficult. What I'm like. I want everything now. I want to be qualified. I want to do it. I'm like, just give me the work and I'll do it over the weekend. But they said, no, you need to do clinical hours. You need to have volunteers. It's going to take a set period of time. And I had to go, right, that's how long it's going to take then. Okay. And once I kind of okayed that in my head, became a lot easier.
Yeah. So giving yourself a time frame.
Yeah.
And being patient with yourself, I think, is something that to learn, isn't it? Just know that it's going to take time, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And just sort of being okay with that, I suppose. Yeah.
And I think timely falls into relevance or realism. I think it falls into the achievable as well, because if I said to you, right, I don't run at all at the moment, but tomorrow I'm going to run the London Marathon. I'm just going to set myself up to fail. I'm going to be a bit disappointed, aren't I?
Yeah.
And it'd probably be quite dangerous as well. Definitely. So it's like, you've got to give yourself achievable SMART goals. Yeah. If anyone's interested, have a look at SMART goals. I think they're really good. I think one way of trying to find out what is your meaning and purpose, I love doing the goal mapping, but even if you just start by journaling, if you get those stickers, you get those tick boxes, try and connect to what you love and what your passions are. I find it quite useful to go back to what your core values are.
Yeah.
So your core values will say a lot about what your meaning and purpose is related to. So go back and think about what really intrinsically is within you.
Yeah.
And almost immovable, isn't it?
So, similar to that, probably what you're saying is what I found natural, what I found like quite normal, and what I found quite natural is talking to people. Talking to people in general, for me, I find quite a natural thing to do. I'm quite okay on the phone. I'm quite all right with people that I don't know. I feel quite comfortable in that situation.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes me think that I'm probably need to do something with people. I'm sort of a people person in a way. But it was also similar to that as well. It's like, what did I feel really excited about when I started talking to people about something? What got me really fired up? What got me really kind of like interested? What made me think, what made me really sort of bring out my cause and values and sort of like, and things like that into a situation and feel really passionate about that. What was I passionate about?
Yeah.
And I think just paying attention to what that was and just trying to be a little bit more self-aware made me realise what it was that I felt like I needed to be doing and what my purpose really was.
And that will just give you some kind of direction. I think even writing a list of what you're good at,
definitely,
can help you find your kind of pathway.
Because I did care for a little bit. I worked in palliative end of life care and care in the community for a while, and I knew I was on the right lines when I was working in care, because I knew it was something to do with helping people. I felt like it became natural. I felt like I didn't have to like extra try. It just kind of like it was like a natural thing for me to do, which was a really big sign that I was on the right sort of path with that sort of thing. But then when I heard about Iseropia and then started doing some volunteering, then I was like, actually, I think this might be it. So it's sort of like I knew that I was on the right path with care though, because it was like it felt right, but it wasn't quite right. So it's sort of like it's a lot about being self-aware as well, isn't it? And knowing what you really want to do.
And actually, while you were talking, I was just thinking about how this relates to key 4 of adopt an open and positive mindset.
Yeah.
Because I think if you open your mind to the possibilities,
definitely,
things do come up because you're more aware of it. Like, I'm not being hippie about this, like thinking that things just naturally pop up. I just think that I don't know how to explain it. Like, so when I started thinking about counselling, I thought, right, first step is see if I like it. So what I'll do is I'll do a foundation course.
Yeah.
So I started the foundation course, and then a couple of months later, a job came up at Iseropia for a wellbeing coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, that'd be good. So I can learn the theory outside, but I'll be putting into practice on a daily basis. Things I'll be learning. So I did that. And then the job came up as deputy, and then I've gone into my final. It's all
linked together.
But I'm not saying it's like magic. I think it's because I had an open and positive mind about it.
Definitely.
I was willing to accept suggestions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when they came up, instead of shutting them down and going, no, I'm a pub manager, this is what I do. This is what I'm always going to do. I'm earning money. That's enough for me. I went, no, actually, I am testing the water. I am curious. That other doors, that's how I see it. Other doors started opening.
Definitely. I think it's important to stay open-minded and try new things. And it's the same with, sometimes for me, it was the same with getting well. Similar kind of thing to finding your purpose. Also with getting well, like sometimes it's like, oh no, like everyone said to me, try yoga, especially my sister. And I was like, I'm not doing yoga. I'm not a yoga person. Like this you will not see me doing downward dog. It's not happening. But I got to the point where I was like, right, I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it a go. And it's now part of my daily routine, like weekly routine. It's something that I've implemented, and it's helped me massively, physically and mentally. So, I think it's important that we stay open-minded generally. When we're trying to connect with our meaning and purpose, and also when we're trying to find ways of finding new coping mechanisms to help with how we're feeling as well. I think it's really important, and it's paramount in getting better.
And one of the biggest rules about like connecting to meaning and purpose and setting goals is to not judge yourself. I know I keep saying it, but it's so important to not judge yourself. And someone else can't write the goals for you, and you can't write someone else's goals. You need to do it yourself. The intention needs to be there. And if your role is to wake up every morning and walk the dogs, then that's your goal. That is your meaning and purpose.
100%.
If you've connected to that, then that's brilliant. Connection can mean so many different things. It's not just about how you connect with people. It's how you connect with nature, like your community, society, everything like that. It's just finding your way and being connected.
Meaning and purpose can mean something different to everybody. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different meaning and purpose in life, and everybody has different passions. And I think it's important just to remember that. And just because somebody's got a certain meaning and purpose, it doesn't mean they're a paramedic or something, and you're like, oh no, I should be a paramedic. Or maybe you're not supposed to be a paramedic. Maybe you're supposed to be, a wellbeing coach, or maybe you're supposed to be something else, and that's okay. And remembering that, I think, is really important. That you don't have to live up to other people's expectations all the time. And sometimes actually we need to really be thinking about what's going to make us happy, what's going to make me happy, and what does make me happy. And I think paying more attention to that, what makes me not happy, what makes me unhappy as
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
focusing
Yeah.
on the two things, what's going on here. And I think the more self-aware we are and the more aware we are of what's going on and how things are affecting us, I think it can be helpful to move forwards and find that purpose and that
Absolutely.
connection with our meaning and purpose as well, the two together. So
Yeah, I think that we're going to end it on that, because I think that's the best ending ever. I think she summed it up there. How do you guys feel? Thank you very much for joining us. I will be with Lou next week, and that'll be Thursday morning at 10 o'clock. So please do come and join us there. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks very much, guys. See you later. Take care. Bye.